Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I would like to talk about what's going on with the Xbox Activision acquisition in US right now. So I'm sure you heard that there's this court case going on right now. Federal court is investigating the deal. FTC is trying to get an injunction which would block the deal for many years to come. And Microsoft is trying to avoid it, of course. So we observe this back and forth between them. There's been 2 days of hearings, this week, and there's going to be 2 additional days next week. So there's actually going to be even more information leaking out probably in the future. And because this court case is public for the most part, a lot of information actually leaked, official information, because obviously they are testifying, like CEOs, like Microsoft CEOs and stuff, like testify, in front of the court, so they cannot lie. We're not talking about PR speak. We're talking about facts, right? And quite a lot of things actually leaked out thanks to that. And I'll talk about a couple of things in a minute. First off, I want to address one thing, because I've seen quite a lot of people saying that, oh, Microsoft is destroying FTC in court and that kind of stuff. Like there's a certain group that say that. Obviously, there's other group that says that FTC is winning. But I've actually seen some conversations and stuff. I didn't watch the actual stream, but I've seen some reports. In articles, what was actually said there, and looks like FTC doesn't really know what they talking about. I don't think they investigated that matter properly, or maybe they are trying to make up stuff basically in front of the court to look better. Because some people, there's people like even not only journalists but also law firms or like people that deal with law, they say that they don't have any ground to stand on in front of the court. But you know what I will say is that until we get the decision, I wouldn't celebrate yet, because I remember how many people celebrated that, CMA changed their decision, right, at first, and then they found some other stuff to latch on, and they block the deal. So the fact that FTC may not be doing that great, right now in front of the judge, that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't get that injunction. And if they do, well, the deal will probably get cancelled, because Microsoft cannot wait years to fight FTC in court and then that kind of stuff, because that's what injunction would mean. That injunction would basically block the deal, for a long period of time, and Microsoft would have to fight in court to kind of, I guess, unblock it, to prove that they are right and FTC is wrong, right? So that would probably take some time. So that's why Microsoft is really sending everyone, Satya Nadella is going to be the next there next week. Phil Spencer was there this week. Sarah Bond as well. I think Pete Hines was there too from Bethesda. So anyway, I will wait with a judgment until I see what the judge will say, probably late next week. I'm actually not sure when the final decision will be made. Probably shortly after the hearings will end, right? So which I think the last day of the hearings is Thursday, right? Next week. So anyway, what kind of interesting information we actually learned from that? First off, let's talk about, Pete Hines, maybe. He did testify, and he actually was pretty open about the fact that without Microsoft, ZeniMax and Bethesda as a publisher would not be what they are right now. I mean, they kind of struggled a little bit with some finances, I guess. So Microsoft did actually help them big time. Save the jobs and stuff. And he actually spoke on about the situation. Bethesda got into Sony and stuff, because actually I'll get back to Starfield in a minute. So because that was Phil Spencer who was saying that. Anyway, so Peter Hines did confirm that Indiana Jones is going to be an Xbox exclusive. I report on that, but my video got taken down, unfortunately, some issues. But so let me say this again. So Indiana Jones, that game that got announced by Bethesda 2 or 3 years ago at the Xbox stage, that everyone thought that is going to be multi-platform, mainly due to the fact that Disney owns the IP, Indiana Jones IP. So looks like that's not really the case. The deal for multi-platform title was there, but once Microsoft finalized the acquisition of Bethesda, ZeniMax Bethesda, they changed the deal with Disney, signed a new deal, and that game became an Xbox exclusive. We still don't know when it's coming, so I would probably say like not anytime soon, like 2025 maybe. So that's one thing. Another thing I want to talk about is the whole situation. Still Bethesda. Let's stick to Bethesda for now. The whole situation with Starfield and being exclusive and stuff. So this is actually not the first time we hear that, but apparently, not apparently, Phil Spencer did say that Sony was trying to make Starfield a PlayStation exclusive. Sorry. Whether we're talking about a timed exclusive, just like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, I'm not really sure. But yeah, Sony was trying to get that game for PlayStation. And what Phil Spencer said that that made them realize that they have to really step up big time and start buying studios, because Sony may actually block a lot of big games for them, right? That's why they ended up buying Bethesda. That's what he said, right? I'm not so sure whether that was the only reason. Obviously, the fact that Bethesda was not really in the best financial state at the time, I'm sure that did help too. Let's face it, Microsoft really was trying to get some new studios and stuff, so they bought a publisher, right? So but I'm sure that this the fact that Sony was trying to block the Starfield to make it a PlayStation exclusive did kind of help Microsoft to decide to let's just go and buy Bethesda. And now Starfield is an Xbox/PC exclusive, right? He was also asked about State of Elder Scrolls and the Outer Worlds. Now, the Outer Worlds, I'm not sure. That must have been Phil Spencer or Matt Booty, I'm not sure. Either way, there was talk about these two games because these two games are in development. The Elder Scrolls, Phil Spencer did say that this game is not coming out anytime soon. It's probably going to be very close to the end of this generation, beginning of next. So yeah, and which makes sense because I don't think, Bethesda for the most part is still focusing on finishing Starfield right now. So they will need some time to kind of polish a little bit, create some extra content and stuff, and then they will start working on Elder Scrolls. I'm sure that this game is in pre-production, but when it comes to full production, it's probably going to start next year. So yeah, 2028 sounds like is going to be a release date for this game or close. By the way, he did say that Xbox exclusivity for this game hasn't been decided yet, apparently, and apparently same goes for the Outer Worlds too. Apparently, Microsoft still don't know whether these two going to be an Xbox exclusives, console exclusives. But it may be just they way of avoiding talking about too many exclusive games, because obviously this, even though these two games have nothing to do with Activision, but I don't think they want. I think they are trying to portray themselves as a company that has no problems releasing games for other platforms. So yeah, that's what he said. But you know, like after they changed that Indiana Jones deal, I don't think that Elder Scrolls or other Outer Worlds 2 are going to be multi-platform games. I think these two are going to be exclusive too, but that's my opinion. Another thing I want to talk about, which actually leaked out, was the Call of Duty situation, because obviously Phil Spencer just keeps saying that Call of Duty will stay multi-platform. They signed so many deals. They've got contract ready for Sony, but Sony doesn't really want to sign. And yet FTC just keeps asking for that all the time. You know, they keep asking Phil to. They kept asking Phil to like promise and under the oath to promise that the Call of Duty will never be cancelled for PlayStation, that it will always be on PlayStation, and Phil Spencer did confirm that pretty much, right? I mean, he cannot say that it will be like that forever, right? Because they cannot guarantee that the game will be releasing forever, but yeah, I mean, looks like that's the final confirmation, and stuff. And I think there was also a situation where FTC was questioning Phil Spencer, and they kept asking about Call of Duty, I think. And I think at some point even the judge got annoyed with FTC, and they said, okay, enough, Phil, you don't have to answer any more questions, because there was a situation like that. Can you imagine? So yeah, it looks like FTC didn't really do a great job there. So that's the situation there. Also on Call of Duty, apparently Sony kind of forced, well, maybe not forced, but there was a situation, I think, where Sony, one of the ways to kind of repay for the marketing deal was the fact that Activision negotiated like 20-80 split when it comes to Call of Duty, where normally it's 30-70 split, so 70 for the developer publisher and 30 for the PlayStation, right? And apparently Activision forced Xbox to accept the same too, but without the marketing deal, right? So not only Sony benefited of it because they didn't really had to pay as much money, because they kind of paid indirectly with that more of a money for Activision. But then Activision forced Xbox to actually accept the same deal for the split, 20-80 instead of 30-70. And but Microsoft did not get any benefits of that extra benefits that Sony did. Like, I'm talking about marketing deal and that extra content, right? So that wasn't really a perfect situation. And Activision did threaten Xbox that if they don't accept it, they will take Call of Duty off of Xbox. Can you believe it? So so I'm not necessarily saying that Sony kind of caused it like directly, but they might have caused it indirectly, right? I mean, Activision just thought, hey, if we going to get like 80% of the share from Sony, why don't we get the same from Xbox, right? So it is what it is. And the last thing I want to say, from things that I remember, I'm sure that there was a couple of smaller items there too, but there was a talk about some acquisitions, and apparently at some point in the past, Microsoft did try to buy Zynga. So I think they, mobile games publisher, and we know that Take-Two ended up buying them, but Microsoft did compete for them too. They wanted to buy them too, but they failed, right? And also apparently Square Enix was on a to-buy list, Xbox's to-buy list. But I mean, they were in some talks with Square Enix, but that kind of deal failed. So it is what it is. But the fact of the matter is that Microsoft is really still trying to buy studios, publishers and whatever. And I think at some point, I'm not sure if that was said during that hearing, but I think it was that, Microsoft still has plans for more acquisitions and stuff. Yeah, because there was quite a lot of talk about acquisitions, and FTC did ask Microsoft who they bought and whatever, right? And then and Microsoft said that like in last 2-3 years we just bought Bethesda, because all previous acquisitions were like prior to Bethesda. Now we're trying to buy Activision, and we cannot buy anyone else until we finish that deal. And the conversation turned to Sony, because like Microsoft said that like, yeah, but in last year or two, Sony bought a number of public, studios and stuff. So it's not only Microsoft buying studios left and right? So listen, I don't know how that will end up. I mean, if FTC will, if they fail to get injunction, Microsoft will probably close the deal early July, because they have to. I'm not sure what they do about CMA in UK, but if they don't close the deal before July 18th, they will have to pay $3 billion to Activision, and that's probably not going to be. That's probably not the thing they would like to do, right? They just want to have that deal done, and it is what it is. So we'll see. But I guess we should have some. We should know more late next week probably. I'm not sure if the final decision will be made then, but like I said before, the last day of hearings is I think Thursday next week. So we'll see how that goes. So anyway, guys, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. By the way, I'm not sure if you noticed, I've been posting more gameplay videos recently. I'm trying to do some series. So by the way, I will still making these news videos, but there wasn't really much of a news to talk about recently, so that's why I haven't really posted a lot. But these news videos will keep on coming, but I will mix it up with some gameplay videos as well. So if you could support them, that would be really appreciated. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.